It's a thing. 11.1. We're going to be dealing with polynomials in this module. So here we have a monomial times a binomial. So polynomials are just long strings of equations. I guess they don't have to be long, they can be short. And all of the variables have positive exponents. So 9w to the fourth is considered a polynomial, and it only has one term, so we call it a monomial. And then 8w squared minus 5 has two terms. 8w squared is a term, and negative 5 is a term, so we call that a binomial. And here we're just multiplying. So we multiply the numbers together. 9 times 8 is 72. And then w to the fourth times w squared is w to the sixth, minus 9 times 5 is 45, w to the fourth. So here we have three trinomials. A trinomial minus a trinomial plus another trinomial. And we're going to combine like terms. And like terms inside a polynomial means that the variables are exactly the same. So not only are the variables the same, but the exponents on the variables are also the same. And then if that's the case, then we add or subtract the numbers out front. The number in front of a term is called a coefficient. So here I have a 3w squared, and I need to combine it with all other w squareds. So there's a w squared there, and there's a w squared there. So 3, and you have to be a little bit careful because the second one is a subtraction. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1, plus 8 is 9 w squared. And then we move on to the w's. 2w minus 9w is 7, negative 7w, plus 8 is plus 1w. And then negative 4 minus negative 4 is the same as plus 4. So negative 4 plus 4 is 0, minus 1. And that is the simplified polynomial. Hopefully you've done this before. Do you want to see another one of those? Yeah? So 6x squared plus negative 6x squared plus 4x squared is negative 2. And then we're going to subtract negative 6, which is the same as plus 6. So negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2, plus 6 is 4, x squared. 7x plus 6x is 13. Oh, minus 9 is negative 4. Then negative 9 plus 7 is negative 2. Minus negative 4 is the same as plus 4. So plus 2. Okay. Another way you could do this, if the negatives confuse you, is go ahead and distribute this negative, and then it would become plus 6x squared plus or minus 9x plus 4. And then you just add all those together in that case. All right. 3x squared y. Do we have another x squared y anywhere in this expression? No. It has no like term. So it just stays 3x squared y. Do we have another x squared? Yes, right here, but don't forget the negative. So x squared minus 5x squared is negative 4x squared. And then xy squared, we do have another xy squared right there. So negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6xy squared. So I've used this one and this one and this one, and I've used this one and this one. The remaining term is negative 6y, but it's underneath this negative, so it's plus 6y. And that is the resulting polynomial. All right. Here is a polynomial with 4 terms, and we want to know what is the degree of the polynomial and what is the leading coefficient. Degree and leading coefficient are going to be very important later. So the degree of a polynomial just means the biggest exponent. So the biggest exponent in this polynomial is a 3. And the leading coefficient is the number in front of the variable with the biggest exponent. So we find the biggest exponent there, and we want to know what is the coefficient of that term, what's the number in front, and in this case it's just a 1. So here, the biggest exponent is a 6, so that's the degree, and the leading coefficient is the number in front of that term, negative 20. The degree in this case is 9, and the leading coefficient is the number in front of that term, negative 5. Okay, so all of these, the negative 5, the 20, and the 3, are coefficients. Leading coefficient is the one in front of the variable with the biggest exponent. And we usually write that in front, but sometimes you'll run into a case where that's not happening. Oh, we're going to get rid of that one. Okay, that's it. Get to work.